Hello, this is Texas Style Cuisine. I'm Chef Johnny, and today I'm going to make some potato soup for you. All right, this week we've been really busy here in my classroom. We've been doing knife skills and we have cut up a ton of potatoes. So that's one reason we're doing potato soup here today, to give a demonstration on how to properly make a nice potato soup. So we have a bunch of potatoes cut up. They're gonna be kind of random sizes. We're gonna do a rustic one where it has still the peel on the potato, doing it that way. But we're gonna start off by adding some bacon to a hot pan, and I'm gonna fry up this bacon. Now this bacon cooking really good. So while it's going, I'm gonna get my potatoes started. Got a nice big stock pot. Turn it on. And I have got about 3 gallons of potatoes. And I'm gonna start putting these potatoes in my big pot. They were soaked in water, so they wouldn't turn brown. Some of these were done last night or yesterday, so there's our potatoes. They're in our stock pot, and it's almost halfway full of potatoes. Now with my potatoes, they had water on them, and I'm gonna add about 1 gallon of water to them. And that actually was, had chicken stock in it. So that's just about enough. I wanna cover those potatoes real good, so I'm gonna get another gallon of water. So I have the chicken broth and another gallon of water in there cooking with my potatoes. Back to my bacon. My bacon's ready to get out. It's crispy. It has rendered the fat out. You can use a slotted spoon. I'm using a spider here. We're gonna get out this cooked bacon. It's nice and crispy, and we're gonna use this bacon to saute our other vegetables in. The item that's gonna take the longest to cook is our carrots. If you just put them in with your potatoes, they would still be a little bit on the crunchy side when the potatoes were done. So we're gonna start our carrots off. I got about 5 or 6 big carrots here. We're gonna drop them down into that bacon grease. And I tell you what, cooking with this bacon is gonna add a big dimension of flavor to this soup. Get these sauteed real well and get them tender. These carrots are starting to get tender, so I'm gonna add the celery to them. I've got a whole bunch of celery in here, chopped up. Don't want it too big. This is mainly just for flavor. Now remember, we're gonna make about 3 or 4 gallons of soup, so this will feed 40 people. A cup of soup each, so get that celery in there. Stir it in. And I'm gonna add about 4 cups of onions. Onions already diced up. Another thing we did this week, taught my students how to dice onions, so we had a lot of items ready to go. So we're gonna saute this till the celery and the onions get tender also. We're gonna get this carrots and celery and onion, or we'd call that mirepoix for seasoning, out of here. It's not a true mirepoix, because a mirepoix would be 50% onion, 25 celery and 25 carrot. And actually I'm about half and half. I got about 4 cups of celery, about 4 cups of onion, and a bunch of celery. So it has the 3 parts of a mirepoix, but it really does not have the ratios of a mirepoix. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a roux that will thicken our soup. So we have the renderings off of this. I'm gonna add some butter to it. Some people would just add their flour to their mirepoix or to their other vegetables. I usually don't do that because you don't get all your flour mixed in real good. I won't say I've never done it, and I don't ever do it, but in this case I'm not. I'm gonna make an actual roux, and it's just gonna be a blonde roux. It's not gonna be dark. And then we're going to add some of our chicken stock to it to make basically a real thick gravy. Butter's about melted. I'm going to add a cup of flour. Okay. All right. Our flour is now mixed in. I have a nice blonde roux. And again, we don't need as much thickening power with this because the potatoes are going to thicken it some, and I have so many small pieces of potatoes in there. Some of those are going to cook down with this boiling, and they're going to help with the thickening process also. So my roux is ready. We never add a hot liquid to a hot roux. It's always hot roux to cold liquid or cold liquid to a hot roux. So I have some cold chicken broth here that I'm going to pour on. And I'm just going to make a nice thick slurry. And this is going to get poured into my soup in a minute to help thicken it. But I'm just going to stir this until it all gets to be nice and smooth. To my roux and the chicken broth, now I'm going to add some milk. Stir that in. That's going to give us a creaminess to our potato soup. And we're going to just incorporate this in with that basically gravy that we had made. Now, while my milk and my roux are heating up, what I'm going to do is add my carrots, onions, and celery to my potatoes. So we're adding a ton of flavor into this pot right now. All we have in there now is a chicken stock with our potatoes. Okay. Stir that in. One thing we want to be careful of right now is salt. I'm going to start seasoning, but we don't want to add any salt because there is salt in our chicken stock that I used. I used a prepared base, which is salty. So you don't want to add salt until you try it. Now you can make this with a salt-free or low-salt chicken stock that you can pick up. Let's add some seasoning to this soup. I'm going to add some black pepper. I like my potato soup a little on the peppery side. There's 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons. And I'm going to put about a tablespoon, maybe a little shy of a tablespoon of garlic. I love garlic. I don't want this to be garlicky. I want it to have a little hint of garlic. That way someone will go, hey, what's that other flavoring in there? So just a little bit of garlic in here. All my vegetables are just almost ready. So what I'm going to do now is add my milk and my thickening to it. All right. Now let's stir that in, and it will thicken some more. That flour is in a boiling liquid with that milk. We're going to get a lot creamier sauce now. Important thing to remember about seasoning is you can always add more, but you can't take any out. So I'm going to go with about a tablespoon of salt. Let's stir that in. Give it a try. I think you use just a little bit more. All right, we put in about another tablespoon of salt. Let's try our broth. That's getting real close right there. Our potato soup is ready. Let's see if we can try some of it. Oh, that's looking pretty. Has some pretty color with it, with those carrots and the celery. And right up on top, some of that bacon we had earlier, I chopped it up. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bacon right on top. Take my spoon, hot soup for one of those cold winter days. Hope you give it a try. Appreciate you stopping by Texas Style Cuisine today. If you enjoyed the video, give me a big thumbs up. And I tell you what, share us on your social media. Tell your friends and family about us. Let them know what's going on Texas Style Cuisine. And we'll see you down the road.
Sitting by the wagon when the sun come up this morning. Bacon, eggs, and coffee, biscuits, and beans. Cookie strikes the bell and he rings the world a warning. How them boys put food away beats all I've ever seen.